YouTube crew, it is Multiplier here for a bit of a thought experiment that I want to take you along the journey with for. Right, so there's a whole idea in constructing music studios of taking your computer out of the studio. Let me explain. So, because computers and hard drives in particular, actually for like a spinny sort of hard drive, computers and hard drives make a bit of noise. Sometimes the noise is, well, that's a squeaky floor noise. Ignore that. Sometimes a computer will go, very, very quiet. And it's perfectly fine, especially for just day-to-day listening. And yeah, even if you're recording, it's not too bad if it's just a sort of noise. But sometimes a computer will go and a hard drive will go when it's doing its spinning. And that's really annoying. Even if you're not recording audio, it can just be a bit either annoying or draining, and it can actually go into your headphones as well. So, I mean, if you use open backed headphones, such as these ones, which have open backs, let me show you. Knowledge is coming right now. Brilliant. So these are open backed headphones. If you have a sort of look, you can see there's holes in it. So you can see to the speakery bit. Basically, there is no real back to these headphones. That's just a bit of protective stuff. The sound goes pretty much straight through it. Now, these headphones are better sound quality because you don't have the bouncing around, so the sound, yeah, let me do a proper sentence. So, with closed back headphones, let me explain. Such as these guys. So these are, let's get in the lights. We can do that. We can do like some light. These are closed back headphones. So the back is closed. The downside of this is the sound comes off the speaker bit, which is on the inside, and then bounces off the back of the plastic bit, and then goes into your ear. So you get this sort of really weird sort of room bouncy reflection thing that people might call boxy, for example. It's pretty minor, to be honest, but it is definitely a small thing. And that's why open backed headphones exist. These guys, because they have holes in, and therefore the sound is cleaner going into your ears. But these don't isolate almost any background noise because the sound goes not only sort of out the headphone without bouncing back, but then sound can also come in. So if you have a loud computer or a loud hard drive and you have open backed headphones, then you can hear a bit of the computer noise coming through into your ears still, which is annoying. So ideally, you want to get your computer outside of the studio or outside of the room that you use as a studio. Therefore, in an ideal world, you want your computer and all your hard drives, or especially all the noisy ones, all your hard drives, let's go for all your hard drives, out of the studio. But this is easier said than done. In fact, it's much easier said than done. It's normally actually quite hard to do because, I mean, for one, you have to have your wires going out of the room, which is fine if you have a house or like a proper business sort of studio space. You can just kind of run wires willy-nilly around the place. But if you're renting or you only have one room available, or I don't know, you live in a dungeon or a castle with stone walls, you can still drill through stone. You know what I mean, It can be difficult to run wires from one room to another, but it's a good thought experiment, and at least something that some people will be able to do. I haven't decided if I'm going to do it yet myself. I don't really need to, since my computer's nice and quiet now. I've got the fans fixed, and I unplug all my sort of spinny hard drives when I'm producing and recording. So for me personally right now, I don't really need to move the computer, but it's a good thought experiment, because I know some of you will want to move your computer, and some of you can do, 2 or 3 probably, because it's quite expensive to do normally, running wires into different rooms, but it's cool and interesting and something to think about for the future. What's involved? Let's have a look. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to hold the camera. That's okay. We can hold the camera. I can just guess because, I mean, I'm looking with my eyes, but I can't see through the camera. That's okay. Right. So this is my computer. I'm going to do, yeah, I'm going to freestyle the filming right now. So it's okay. You're going to hear me talking. You're going to hear me talking. You're going to hear me talking through that. But you're not going to be able to see me for a few moments. Don't worry. Don't worry. I'm still here. I'm still here. I look like this. I'm still here. I'm still here. I'm jibber jabbering. Knowledge, thoughts. This is a computer. This is how I currently have my setup. I have a laptop that I basically, whenever I come into the studio, I plug my laptop in. I plug in all the sort of cables. There's a power cable, a monitor cable, and some other ones that I'll run through. So I plug all that in, and then I do all my producing, say words right, producing over here, and then basically everything just kind of goes through the cables. The cool thing is I have these little cable jobbies, so whenever I want to take my computer downstairs to say, I don't know, edit in the living room, or I don't know, take my laptop somewhere else out of the house, then I can just unplug these cables, stick the little cables and the little cabley bits, boink, which are really fun, and then it's just really smooth and convenient to almost like dock my laptop there. Therefore, as you can probably imagine, the key part about moving your computer, whether it's a laptop or a desktop solution, the key part about moving it outside of the studio is what you're plugging in. These pluggy dudes are the key to everything. So you have to figure out what's going to happen to them. So let's go through it one by one. Power cable. Easy. Let's say, for the sake of argument, my computer's in another room. I could just run a power cable in that other room. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. This cable is a Thunderbolt 1, I think, based on the age of my Retina MacBook Pro. So it's a Thunderbolt cable running into an adapter into a DVI, going into the monitor. Squeaky floor action, squeaky floor, right. So it goes into the monitor, and that's how I see stuff, obviously. Now this is fine. You can run quite long versions of these. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. In fact, I think I already have a, where is that? Oh, I think it's at the back of the room. So I have basically the way that this plugs in is through a cable that goes over there. So when I'm doing sort of like product videos for like Plugin Boutique and such, so if you see me on their website doing sort of buttons, noise, demoing a sort of plugin or an instrument, then yeah, I'll do it here. So I have that really long cable there, so I think that's fine. I think that cable's absolutely fine and dandy. I think I already have a long one, so yeah, that can be fine. I think you can get 15-20 foot, and I think it kind of works. So I'm not worried about that. Worst case scenario, if you needed to go maybe more than 30 foot or 25 feet, then you can get a Thunderbolt extension. They're really expensive, but you can do it. It's a thing that exists in the world. Next, let's go to the right-hand side. So this USB cable goes into my Anker 13-port USB hub, which is very, very expensive. It's about £50, 50 British pounds approximately. Very approximately. I've completely forgotten the price. So I thought I'm going to get the best expensive USB hub possible, best reviews, and it still misbehaves. It makes a weird squealing noise. So I'm annoyed about that. But anyway, it works. It makes a squealy noise every now and then. It's like maybe something's trapped inside. But yeah, it makes a weird little noise. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. Right, so this goes into the USB hub, and then I've got loads of stuff plugged in. I've got a little SSD hard drive, really fast, T3 I think it's called, from Samsung. So that's my main external drive, SSD, brilliant, silent, super fast, super brilliant. I've got a webcam plugged in. I've got something else, a sound card, Ableton Push 2. No, incorrect. I do not have a sound card. I do not. I could explain this much better. I have two USBs going into my computer. One of the USBs is my sound card, so my sound card goes directly into my computer, for reasons that I'll explain in a sec. And then the other side is a USB hub, which has everything else, from keyboard, mouse. I like to have it all wired for reasons, again, I probably won't explain that now, but yeah, reliability. Yeah, it's the reason I like to wire everything, even though it's still not very reliable because of USB hubs, and don't even get me started. So I have all sorts of buttons and like keyboard, mouse, Ableton Push 2. That all goes through the USB hub, and additional hard drives when I want to plug them in, like this guy down here, my 4 terabyte. Just plug that in. It's really loud and noisy, but it's a backup drive. Just plug it in, easy peasy. This side isn't too bad because you can get USB extension cables and they're not too unreliable. Basically, normal USB cables, like a normal cable you buy from the shop, super cheap and super cheerful, they only go up to about 5 meters at the very, very limit. After about 3 meters, you're getting into unreliability zone. So let's say 3 meters is the realistic limit for a reliable wired normal USB cable. You can get longer ones, but they're very, very expensive. And even the cheaper expensive ones are more than you'd expect. They're basically called active USB cables. So if you want to go above, say 3 meters, or let's say 5 meters, 3 to 5 meters. So if you wanted to have your computer 10, 15 meters away, you would need an active USB cable. And the problem is the cheap expensive ones are a bit unreliable. And the most annoying part about it is the way they're unreliable is unpredictable. Whoa! USB, it's just plug and play, right? What do you want about USB being unreliable? There's a lot more to it. USB isn't just a magical wire. USB is software, it's hardware, and especially when you start going into words, especially when you start getting into the world of active USB cables, which are powered little things that do sort of magic and computers and stuff. There's a lot of stuff actually going on between the two devices. I mean, even if you don't have an active USB cable, just a normal wired one, there's software and there's hardware that has to do a bunch of computery stuff. That's really complicated, and even the internet doesn't really explain it well, so you don't really never know what's going on. But it kind of does stuff. Most of the time, it works. But the problem is, when you start getting into professional applications, when you start getting into mission-critical data scenarios for stuff like streaming or recording high data rates, or just anything where you're using, say, lots and lots of devices over long distances and stuff just starts to go wrong. The whole USB protocol and software, hardware, computer magic starts to go wrong. But really, really annoyingly, as I say, it goes wrong in an unpredictable way. So there is a good chance, maybe a 60, 70, 80% chance that you could buy the cheapest active 15-meter USB cable from Amazon and it would work in most situations. As I say, 60 to 80% of the time, probably absolutely fine. But some of the time, it will go wrong. There'll be some situations, some combinations of device and other device and sort of everything in between, some situations that you can't predict, stuff will go wrong. Just like that video I did about the MacBook Pro where I was ranting about dongles and USB hubs not working for unpredictable reasons, active cables are even worse for this. And even more annoyingly, because they're expensive, you can't just buy it and then if it doesn't work, buy another one, because then you start running out of money. I mean, these active USB cables start at maybe, I don't know, 30, 40 pounds for a cheap one. And then if you want to get a proper optical one, which is really what you actually want to do, you're looking at like 80, 90, in fact, a lot more actually. I think it's the screenshot of Corning ones. Screenshots. See, look how expensive these are. Wow. Can't remember the price. Maybe £150 for not a mega long Corning's optical USB 3 cable. So that would be the ideal solution, is getting a optical active cable, which is a sort of light and different kind of magic. So that would be ideal, is to get one of these Corning cables, which I'm pretty sure would work. They're certainly more reliable, which I'm doing now using screenshots and editing. If you go on the website, they have a case study of a music studio doing precisely this. So I think theoretically, the most expensive optical USB cables, such as the ones from Corning, should work. I say should because I just don't really trust computers 100% because they're technology which is imperfect. So what do you do? What do you do? Do you go cheap and just roll the dice and hope a £60 active USB cable works, but maybe it doesn't, so you have to buy another one, but then you spent as much as you would have done if you just bought the really expensive ones in the first place? Whoa, confusing and annoying. But yes, I guess my whole point of this is USB can't just be extended as easily as you might expect. Actually, that's only kind of true, because it also depends on what you're moving. If you're moving, say, just the data from a keyboard, like a MIDI keyboard, like one of these dudes, then reliability isn't too bad because it's sending really, really simple, really, really small informations, and it just it's fine. All the little imperfections in USB technology are fine with that sort of situation. But if you're sending, say, sound card information, which is the most important, stuff just goes horribly wrong. Everything goes wrong pretty much all the time. So it's a complete disaster. And that is why, for example, you know how I said USB hubs are unreliable, but less unreliable than long USB cables? You can't even run a sound card through a USB hub and have it working almost ever properly. You can't have a sound card running through a USB hub and expect it to work all the time, especially when you're recording, which I personally am. But even if you're just generally listening, when you start running sound cards through hubs, stuff just goes wrong. It just does. Same with DJing, actually. If you're a DJ, with the same concept, but in the context of DJing. So if you're a DJ, more practical knowledge here, as well as my thoughts. If you're a DJ, then make sure you plug your sound card from your rewind. If you're a digital DJ, so you're not using CDJs or vinyl, you're using something like a tractor controller, which is basically a sound card and a whole bunch of buttons and complicated DJ stuff all in one device, then you want to make sure you plug that directly into your computer and not through a USB hub. And therefore, if you had, say, loads of these sort of things, like additional controllers for DJing, then you want to run loads of those through a USB hub, because that's fine. Lots of words there, lots of words. Let's consolidate that information. Sound cards, you want to plug directly into your computer. And if you can't, because maybe you're trying to get your computer outside of the studio, then you pretty much need to use the most expensive, really annoying cables, Only really annoying because of the price. But you have to use really expensive cables, otherwise you're basically setting yourself up for failure. So yeah, I could do that, but it starts to get very expensive very, very quickly. I mean, let's say it's 150 British pounds for a like a good USB extension cable. 1, 2, £300 already. Whoa! I mean, it's not the most money in the world, but it's still it's the least exciting way to spend £300. Oh, also one more idea, because remember, this is a thoughts video, sparking your imagination, sparking thoughts and stuff. Remember, I said it was only really the sound card that's going to cause problems over long distances. What you could do theoretically is option number 2. So this computer, imagine it's in the other room now. So the power cable, fine, just plug it in the other room, easy peasy. This cable, you can get long ones, as I said, really easily. Fine and dandy, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. And then this one, you could have a long, so this one goes into the USB hub. This one, you could have a long USB cable, not necessarily the most expensive, it'll probably work fine. Maybe not if I'm recording to a telephone call, spammers or honeys, one of the two. Probably the same. Lol. Right. So yeah, this one, USB hub, I could have a medium-priced USB cable and it'd probably be fine, unless maybe I'm recording to a scratch disk for video stuff on a hard drive, in which case maybe it wouldn't, I don't know. That would be the situation where it might fail. But yeah, you could probably have a cheaper USB cable, like an active long one for that side, fine. And then this one, what you could do is idea number 2, option B, is still plug your sound card in directly, but run really long microphone and speaker cables. So the sound card will be in the other room, but then you run long speaker cables and microphone cables from room to room. Because you can do that. You can do really long runs of XLR cables. These cables are called XLR for excellent, not really. I can't remember what it's called, but it's basically a microphone cable. You see the back, look at that. Oh, look at that brilliance. Yeah, there's just cables everywhere. Cable apocalypse. But yes, you can get really long words. You can get long runs of these speaker cables and it works fine. If you're doing extremely long runs, like, I don't know, 200 meters or 300 meters, which you probably wouldn't do, not in the music studio context, but then you might need to get special ones. But yeah, certainly for normal use, it's absolutely fine. So what you could do is have the sound card in the other room. The problem, though, with doing that sound card in another room, long speaker cables, is then you can't make adjustments, and that'd be really annoying. So if I want to say adjust the level of my sound card, the volume, I couldn't go to the other room to make the adjustment. That's stupid. So I'd have to maybe get a additional volume control in line between the speakers. All possible, and all something I probably would do actually in the world of the future when I might do this. All possible, but extra levels of complexity. Also more problematic for me personally, but probably not necessarily you, unless you do lots of recordings and stuff. If this is in the other room, I can't adjust the levels on the sound card dude for the game ever. I have to stand up. I can't do that. So that'd be annoying. So yeah, that's probably annoying solution. I think probably the best solution, if you're going to spend much money moving your computer into another room, you probably have to bite the bullet and buy this really expensive USB cable. Optical definitely. I mean, on the website, as I've showed you, they did a case study with a music studio, so presumably that would be your clue that it might work in a musical context. But as you might be able to guess, I just don't trust computers and stuff. They just go wrong in ways that you can't predict, and no one knows why. Like, I take my computer to get fixed sometimes, and they just go, you might need to do a restore, which is code for I don't really know. You may have gathered by now that I just don't really trust computers, because sometimes they just go wrong for no reason at all. The problem's intermittent, so you can't analyze and understand what caused the problem by kind of removing variables. Because it's an intermittent problem, you can't test it. I can't say swap out a cable or try a different way of doing things because it's an intermittent problem. So how do you even check for that? So I just hate, and then sometimes they go away. Sometimes I've had problems just go away without software updates, without hardware updates, and it's annoying, especially when your job revolves around doing stuff with these computers. Stuff goes wrong. As much as companies like Apple like to have you think that computers, you just plug it in, bingo bango bongo, it works. But sometimes it just doesn't, and no one knows why. So yes, that is it. Some thoughts, feelings, and emotions, and just sort of thoughts that hopefully you found interesting about what you would need to do to move your computer outside of the music studio. So Let me know, especially by email, but also in the comments, if you actually do go ahead with this, because I'd be curious to know how it goes, what cables you used, what your setup is, what cables you used, and how it all kind of went, so I can store that in my brain and just increase the knowledge base of my brain. So I'll catch you guys. Bumped into the chair on the flippity flip.